Good evening. I'd like to call the Northwood Board of Selectmen's meeting to order on October 24th, 2017 at 6 p.m. Roll call.
Donald Hodgson here.
Rick Wolf and Scott. Breyer is not with us tonight. Moving on to the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic stands one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Awesome. All right, moving on to citizens forum. Would anybody like to speak in citizens forum?
No? Okay.
I guess not. Moving on to public hearings, we have none, or do we?
No, not tonight,
All
sir.
right. Moving on to appointments. Babette Morrow. Come to the table if you would like. Sorry, I'll talk louder.
Thanks.
How are you?
Good. How are you?
Good.
I just want to thank you for getting me
Speak
on the...
up a little bit into the mic, not really for them, but for the TV, please.
Can you hear me, Gary?
Yeah.
I just want to thank you for hearing me tonight and getting me on so quickly. He gave you maps. Now, it says on the agenda duck hunting. It's really the waterfowl hunting season I'm talking about, and the area is the boat launch on Northwood Lake. So it's just that area, not townwide or anything. So I just wanted to state that right off. And usually it's geese and duck hunting there is all that there really is. Now, I'm glad you have maps. I actually live this line of mobiles right there. I live the fourth one down, and I look across into that whole span, actually. I'm kind of right in the middle, so I see everything that's going on. And the hunters hunt right at this point, I believe. I'm not exactly sure this map is quite accurate. There's so much erosion that goes on. You can actually take a kayak and go all the way down into here, and it doesn't even show that. I was not sure in talking to Joe if the town owned it or the state owned that piece of land that the hunters go on, because it is above the high water mark. It is land of some sort. Did you get a feel of that at all?
That's town property. Yeah, the boat ramp belongs to the town. We went through this about 2.5 years ago.
Yeah, we did.
Right.
Yeah.
So they're actually they always enter from the boat ramp.
Right.
And then they go on to this area in here. If what the town, the squares that show what the conservation land is, then it's town land as well.
Yes.
So I think it's actually clearer on this map. So they're hunting right on this jetty. And I've had Fish and Game, I've called the police several times just to come and see if legally they're within 300 feet. There's been a lot of contention on this particular area because it's so crowded here. Now, the boat launch is as well part of the scenic byway because that's actually a state highway there. And so we do get more tourists now that just come to stop and look at the lake. So it's not just hunters or people with boats. There's quite a lot of people who actually stop there. So the problem is they start at the boat launch and then they go up here into the high grass and the reeds. They lay down in their camos and you cannot see them. You can't see them till they fire and they stand up. If they don't stand up, you still can't see them. And that's the problem, is that you've got all sorts of boats and kayaks that when they're laying down, they never know what was coming up because you cannot see. In that tall grass, you cannot see beyond this bend. And it doesn't show it that well here, but if you stand at the boat launch, you think you can see this end from that launch, and you cannot. You can only see part halfway up. And so you don't know anybody's there. You wouldn't know a kayak was there or anything. And that's where the danger lies, really, because it's such a crowded area to where if the people launch their boats, they go kayaking. Even now, hunting season's been open since the 3rd, and we still have boats because it takes 6 weeks for the lake to drain, so we still get a lot of boat activity even now. And then you get the mud flats, and there's no ducks because there's no water, so there's just a certain frame, a time frame that actually October and November that this becomes an issue. I've seen a lot there that isn't quite right as far as hunting. You're supposed to hunt over open water. Now, to me, that means you're pointing your gun this way, not this way. And they always point along that shoreline. Because although it doesn't show here, this little inlet goes way up here, and they try to get the ducks with the decoys in that hidden little space. And so when the ducks land, they're actually shooting into here. Now, there are a lot of properties right back here. In fact, it starts with the diner. It's hard to tell from here, but there's the diner, there's a couple of houses, more houses along here. And there's actually quite a few kids on this way, and they play on the flats, especially when it starts to drain all year long. In fact, one time when I called the police last year, I told them that the kids walk down. They don't know the hunters are there. And I wouldn't expect them to. So they like playing. If I was a kid, I'd play on the flats too. It's just fun. The flashlights at night, so I can see where they go. And so the policeman went over to, it's actually dumped out there, to tell the parents that there were hunters hunting there, and they weren't aware of it either. So really my concern is a safety concern, in that it's such a public place. It would be like walking into the meadows and you're taking your dog and you've got hunters flanked on either side of you and you don't even know they're there. And that's really what it's like. And it's such a public place at the meadows. It's a real public place here. Now, I took pictures of it. I can show you on my phone, kind of get the greenery in, and what it's like around there. And there were people with a kid there this afternoon. And there's no specific time these hunters come, whenever they can. Some will come during work, at lunch, it doesn't matter. So you can't say, well, they come early in the morning when nobody's there, because nothing really, is routine. So in that way, I guess that's the clearest I can put it to potential dangers there. I mean, was even a case where the man who lived back here charged on one of the hunters, and he had his son there, and he actually went to jail. He was arrested for assault, went to jail, and he has since moved. But it's just a bad place. Now, there's really 3 hunters, and I've talked with 2 of them, so it's not like I haven't approached this problem from many angles. I've had Fish and Game from Concord over. I've talked with DES because there's some issues with these guys moving whole logs into the middle of the lake, and I had the police take photographs of that, so that's actually illegal. They would be submerged logs when the lake was up, and you need a permit to move them, actually. And then they left them there. So now it's a hazard for the boats, and they never moved them. Because it was muddy, they didn't want to go back there. But now you've got, in 4 feet of water, because that's all it is there, you've got motors and stuff, and, it's just was not a good thing to do. And they actually gave me a hard time on that one because I told them they couldn't dig on the lake bottom, which is, they can't. You can't take a shovel and dig anywhere on the lake bottom. And they had done that and argued with me that, yes, they could. But I called DS and no, they can't. So I know they know some things, and I'm pretty good about what I speak about. You know, I researched it, so I know what I speak about. I don't bring up things that I don't. And I just fear that this is the third year now that taken the hunting here. I've done all I can for the last 2 years, and this year it was worse. They're pointing it inwards with the decoys. And I can't babysit all the time. The police have 10 minutes to get down there because the guys run. As soon as they kill, they pick it up and they run. So the police have 10 minutes. This is how often they've come. They've got 10 minutes from the station to the boat landing, or they miss them. You know, so I don't know what else personally I can do. I've kind of taken it as far in talking with these people. Now, they have enough respect that they have said themselves that it is a compact area, and they would understand if it was closed for that reason. It's just congested in that area. But as long as they are able to hunt, that's what they're going to do, you know. So, and it's not that there are many other places that they hunt on the lake. So you wouldn't be closing it to hunting at all. They hunt across the street in the swamp over here. They hunt all over the lake. So it's just this one particular touristy area that concerns me.
So basically, you're asking us to take consideration of,
I don't believe it's town, the spot that she's talking about, I don't think it's town property.
Well, that's what Joe and I were looking into, and it looks by this map, it probably is. Because where it says on this map, state of New Hampshire, by the,
Talking about that inlet, that's not town property.
this here,
Yeah, by looking at that map, that's not town property.
what do you think it is?
I'm not really sure, it doesn't really say. I see the town property line as being right here.
No, this one here is 22, and it owns this box right here.
So why doesn't the property line go to there? Why does it just stop here? So the property line goes like this?
Yes, and then right down to the water. This belongs to this one.
So why does the property line go through here?
That's not a property line, that's like
Is that the river?
yeah, it's like an easement.
Okay. Talks in that direction. I'm sorry, that line just got me confused. It looks like it's a different piece of property.
It is hard to tell, and I wasn't aware of all of these lots, lines either. Now, I understand the state of New Hampshire has turned it over to the town, so where that's marked is actually town property now.
Well, I think if they were doing something illegal, when you called the fishing game, they would have told them they couldn't hunt there.
No, that's not their purview. As long as,
What do you mean, when you call, when somebody, if you're calling about a complaint, if they're doing something wrong, they're gonna tell them they can't do
they're
it.
technically not doing anything wrong. They're 300 feet away from houses. They aren't 300 feet away from people, you know, that are behind them on the boat launch.
Right, but to correct your earlier thing, you can actually hunt in the state park.
But would
Yes,
you,
you can.
do you want them to?
That
If-
doesn't
if
matter.
I
The point
knew-
is you
yeah.
can.
I know you can.
Okay,
That's not the point. The point is to make it safer.
I agree, but if you're a hunter, that's why they have hunter safety. You should be knowing what you're shooting at anyways.
But then they're supposed to be shooting over open water, and they're not.
So every time that they've been, what is the fishing game done when they've been called on that?
I can't get them there in time.
they're gone by the time they get there.
They've got 10 minutes, you know, to get down there. Fish and Game's up in Concord.
Maybe we can have them patrol that area? I don't,
The police will come when I call. You know, it's seems kind of wasteful to keep calling them, but they've always come. You know, I don't have a problem with them coming and checking it out. And they know the people, they've been down enough, they know who's going there. I'm not even anti-hunting. I know they can hunt in parks. This is just a real bad area. Just because they go in camos, they don't go in orange. They lay down in that grass. There's boats all around them that they can't see, and the boaters can't see them. And they aren't exactly shooting over the open water.
I know I had spoke to Mike Mattson about it a couple of years ago, because I knew there was some problem there with guys hunting there, and people were complaining, and he said it was a fine line, and he said it is a tight area, and
Right.
at that time, he said he was gonna keep an eye on it, but
Right, so what other towns do, I mean, how much can you keep an eye on it? They wouldn't see if Hunter was out there either. What other towns do is the same thing I'm asking you to do. They cordon off, you know, like part of Winnipesaukee or whatever, where it's a problem, but they don't stop hunting. You know what I'm saying? Just problem areas, so all throughout, we're the inland area, this is what they do, you know, so this wouldn't be a first time at all. You know, I don't know what else I could say about it. I don't know what else I could do. My next step, the Fish and Game, you know, said would be to ask the town to do this, and that's my next step, so that's why I'm here today.
maybe we can get in touch with Mike and see what he's got to say
What his
about it.
recommendations would be.
See what we can do too, and what suggestions he's got, because
Yeah, I haven't been able to get a hold of him.
he moved to another town. He's not right in town anymore, so
Okay,
that might be part of the problem.
probably, because I
Not
know,
around
yeah,
this
he's
area
not
as
on
much as he
the
used to be.
Conservation Commission anymore, so,
I think my only concern with this would be if we quarter off this section, there's gonna be another section on this lake that we're gonna run into the same exact occurrences where there's houses or buildings or
well,
tight areas.
It-
So
it
then you're
isn't-
gonna have another one, and then another one. It's just gonna trickle, trickle,
I
trickle,
don't-
trickle, trickle, trickle.
I don't think that will be the case, because this is the tourist area, it's the boat launch where everybody goes. It's the only boat launch on the lake, and it's really one of the few boat launches actually in the region, so this is where people come. There's parking here, there's a lot of things that make this little area good to stop. You know, it's got parking on the side of the road, you can walk down, it's got a porta potty there, that's all there all through summer and fall now, you know, so people stop, you know. And I know what you're saying, I don't think it would be spread anywhere at all, because there's no other place on the lake that has this situation, there's no other boat launch off the state highway, you know, that's now advertised as a scenic byway, you know, so it's got a lot more traffic than it used to. I know when Winnipesaukee raised their speed limit for the boats, we got all sorts of traffic from that. All the big boats came, you know, so they could go 60 or whatever they go on the lake. So,
Alrighty.
I say we just get with Mike and see what he says, and
We'll
we'll
check into
definitely
it and see what
consider
we
it.
can find out, and
Bless
okay.
you.
check back with us, or we'll let you know what we found out.
All right, and if you need any more info about what I've done, I mean, I can get police reports, they certainly could weigh in, I could get Concord Fish and Game report or whatever you need as well. So you can let me know as well.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right, well, thank you. Thank you, the new guy.
I'm not new, this is my second year.
Is it really?
Time flies.
Newness wears off. Quick.
All set.
I'll get with Mike and see what he has to
Yeah,
say about
all
it,
right.
get some advice.
Moving on, Linda Smith is next.
How you doing, Linda?
Good evening. I'm doing well. I have a couple of very quick items, I hope. The first item I have is a citizen came in asking for help with an issue they were having. Basically, if you remember, we used to lease lots called the lease school lots. I don't know if you're familiar with it or not, DJ.
No, I'm not, but.
There were a number of lots on Lucas Pond that the land was leased and the people owned the structures on them.
Kind of like a trailer park, kind of?
Sort of, yeah, same concept. And the town looked into ending the leasing and selling the properties, which we did to a majority of them. And in doing that with one of them, there was an error made on the deed.
Okay.
And essentially what happened is that, I'll say the parents and a child, because the deed has since been conveyed from the parents to an adult child. Prior to that, there was actually a voluntary merger. There were two small original lots, lots 60 and 61. The two were voluntarily merged. I have the documents for that. And when the town conveyed the leased lots, they conveyed that, and it had already been changed on our tax maps as one lot. The problem became when the deed was conveyed, it referenced the plan, but it only included one of the two lots, even though they had been merged, and it was just whoever did the deed put the plan, and it referenced the plan with both lots, but it only had one of the two. So I spoke with Joe, I contacted Laura, she also looked at what I looked at, and she did a quick claim deed. The problem the folks are having is they're trying to get a mortgage, and the title company said until the town gives a corrective deed conveying, going back and actually writing in what didn't happen in the previous deed, they're just in limbo. So I have that deed that she provided, and I would just ask you to sign it. I've looked at it, and everything's been sent to her, and that deed was actually created by the attorney.
Do you need us to make a motion to sign this, or can we just sign it?
Yeah, I'd like to make a motion to send it over.
All right, I'll make a motion to sign a quick claim deed with no convenience for, do I have a tax map? I just have an,
Yes, there's a tax map, I think it's 244.
yep, tax map 244, lot 55.
And I actually, if you want to take
Just
a
making-
look,
we're just making
sorry about
corrections.
papers, but I've circled, and you can see the original two lots in the circle on lot 55, shown as 60 and 61, and how it's actually one lot and no longer two lots. So this is just adding that lot 61, I believe, on that deed that was left off of the original deed.
And they paid for both of these lots when they were sold?
Yes, they did.
I'm just waiting for a second from you. Did you second it?
I'll second it, yeah.
Yeah, go ahead. It looks like I think this, probably Judy's here.
Yes, it needs to be notarized.
Okay.
It's been a couple of weeks to get it researched and
I-
accomplished, and I didn't want to hold the people up any longer, so. I have the original deeds, the voluntary merger, any of the backup information if you'd like to look at it.
Why is the right-of-way coming into this thing? Why are they sticking that in there?
Honestly, I haven't worked on this. This has been Linda and the lawyer. That's why Linda came in tonight.
Yeah,
It's exactly the same language, word for word, that goes back through several deeds from what was, nothing's changed. The only thing that's changed is the adding that lot that was dropped from the original deed. Typically, on a quitclaim deed, it will often include any rights of way. If it doesn't specify it, it's basically saying if there are rights of way, that they're included. But that was part of the original conveyance that was done with all the lots back when the lease lots were conveyed to the people that were purchasing them, that had leased them.
because I had read some of this, and when that was given to them, they were supposed to form an association and everything, and they never did a thing.
I don't know
What they
anything
were
about
supposed to
that.
do on their part after the town voted to give them the right-of-ways, they never did a thing.
Well, they're private, so it's really not so
Well-
much a concern to the town at this point. They should, if they wanted,
That was part of the agreement made with the town back then.
okay. Well, I wasn't involved in that in any way, so I am not familiar with it.
No, but I'm just saying, by signing this and this is in there,
All that is doing is including rights that they already have. If there was subsequent follow-up that was required of them in another document, but that's not included in this document, and these folks simply had bought it from the parents. Again, it's word for word that the attorneys have given to every single one of those lots out there. If they need to form an association, that's something that should be looked into. But these folks are being held back from being able to have a clear title to it.
Right, what they've already actually owned, they just can't.
I understand that. My only question is
I
the
get what
way
you're
it's
asking.
written.
I get what you're
The
asking.
way it's written.
Well, I'm sure that Joe and I could look into that and go back and try to research that information if you'd like.
That's not gonna change this, correct?
It's not going to change that in any,
I get what he's trying to say though, too. But I'm okay with changing it, because it sounds like this property was there.
I know the property was there, that's no doubt, but the right-of-way is what the problem is. They have an association, or they're supposed to have an association. The guy's in charge of the association no longer wants to be bothered with it, because he doesn't want to be liable, because there's no insurance on the beaches. They have no insurance on any of the roadways or anything. So the guy has washed his hands of the whole thing, because he doesn't want to get sued, as he being the maintenance guy, for what's going on down there. And Joe and I spoke about this a year ago.
I don't have any question that what you're saying is probably the case, but a right-of-way on the deed is specifically a right that's conveyed through deeds, which really has no bearing on whether they set up an association or not. It doesn't impact it in any way. All you're doing is simply conveying the rights that they have a deed that already has that, it just doesn't have that lot number on it. And these folks are trying to get a mortgage, and the title company is saying they need the town of Northwood to clear up that error. I mean, it is our error. It was, I'm sure, just an accident that it was left off, but, I mean, certainly if there's another document requiring them, I didn't see anything in here.
If you go back to the town report when this was done, it's in there.
Okay. I mean, we can look at that, but I just, these folks came in good faith. I don't think that they're in any way trying to do anything other than get their title so they can go ahead and get a mortgage on their property.
If you're not ready to vote, there's only two of us, so. I'm okay with it. So it's really, it's up to you.
And
It's
again,
a
the
si- it's
attorney,
our error,
the
it's
attorney
just-
has looked at.
They're not trying to
sent
build,
all
they're not
the-
trying to build anything, they're just trying to purchase the property that's there.
No, they own
Not
it.
even
Right,
that.
they're just
They
trying
are.
to get the title for it.
I
correct?
understand that, but the way it's written, once you sign this,
Oh, I get it, I get what you're
Then
saying,
you're-
but if that's the,
you're finished.
she's saying that this is the way it's been written all along. All we're doing is changing. And our attorneys looked it over too, so. Not that that's always the best thing, but.
This is really to correct the error that occurred back in
I understand what you're saying 100%.
2002, and that deed was signed by all three selectmen, and again, it was an oversight. It references 244-55, it references in that deed that lot with both of them in there.
I understand that, that's not the part I'm questioning. The part I'm questioning is the way this is worded, saying it's private and it's a right-of-way, and it isn't.
Okay, which, are you looking at the statement one on the bottom of the first page, or?
From where it says Woodman Park to its intersection with Lucas Pond Road, and now and forever deemed to be private rights of ways.
Right, that's basically saying that those are private rights of way and the town has no liability. The reason it was put in there, so that the town wouldn't be held liable to maintain them once they sold
I understand
those
that, but where
lots.
they've done nothing, what they were supposed to do when they took this over. And this guy's washing his hands of it down there because he doesn't want to deal with it. He doesn't want to be sued because he repairs the road, he grades it, and he's going to wash his hands of it because he doesn't want to be liable because there's no insurance on the property, there's no insurance on the beaches, and that was part of the original agreement. I mean, I'll sign this, but
Well,
there is a problem.
I don't question that, but basically, it's the town is protected by the language by saying that
My point
they
is,
cannot come back
by
and make the
signing this
town
again
liable.
right now, we're saying the same thing that we supposedly said before, knowing what is going on down there and knowing that they didn't do what they were supposed to do. And now we're signing another one stating that we know that.
I don't think I'm not sure if we can change the language inside the deed.
I'm not either, but I'll sign it. I know it's not a good deal.
All right, so I guess it's vote, I'm voting aye.
Yeah, you need to vote, you need a voice vote.
Vote aye.
Aye,
You guys.
passes 2-0.
Judy, we need you, please. You have been summoned. I'd say to the oval table, but this is more like a square table.
Thank you for coming, Judy. She made a trip down, try to accommodate.
Yeah, you think you could at least buy her a coffee or something?
gonna- yeah.
Coming in or something.
If you can,
Maybe even a muffin.
just coffee and a muffin.
All right, you got anything else?
I have two brief,
Okay,
I have no.
thank you.
A request for consideration for an appointment of alternate member to the zoning board. We still have one vacancy of an alternate member.
Thanks,
Joe
Judy.
Joe followed up on a gentleman who had inquired. His name is Justin Miller. Joe and I have both had some communication via email and phone with him. He would like to serve as an alternate on the zoning board. We have, didn't go quite far enough. And as of last night, we had a resignation, which now gives us another alternate position. So we will need to try to get the word out on that.
Have that letter of resignation by any chance?
I do not have that. He gave a
Verbal?
but it was on the tape, at the end of the tape.
No,
And
I
that was
just wondered.
one of the alternates that we had.
All right, so what are you suggesting for terms? Do you want him to end 2018, so he's gonna renew in March, or do you want to extend it out further than that? Because that's all we gotta set is when it
I would
expires.
suggest that you make this one as the other two had been, and now we're down to one alternate.
At
One
2020?
other. Do them all to 2018, and then we get into March, then let's hopefully, we have 3 alternates, and then at that point, when the reappointments, you can stagger them then. And then, I know Selectman Wolf has been coming to the meetings, and, you can make decisions that you'd like as far as staggering the terms to 2 and 3 years out from that point. That'll give you a chance for the person to be in the position for a while.
See if he wants to keep going.
Right.
I agree. All right, so here we go. I'll make a motion to appoint Justin Miller as an alternate to the Zoning Board of Adjustment, term expiring March 2008, term starting October 24th, 2017.
Second. Any discussion?
No.
Seeing none, I'll call for the vote.
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes 2-0.
That it?
Just one other thing, I just want to bring to your attention, so you're aware of it, that my salary line is now beyond the 0 mark. The reason I'm telling you is because my salary line is an executive office, which is under Board of Selectmen and the town administrator. There are funds in the planning board line that will offset anything from now to the end of December. And most of my overages have been based early in the season by the fact we didn't have a planner for 3 months. I was doing other work. So it is offset, but I wanted you to be aware of it because it is going over at this point.
Is that something that we might want to adjust come budget's time with yours, or did we already discuss your budget line on that?
It would be a good idea to look at it. I've been over
We
the
already
last
discussed
couple of years.
Do we already do your department?
Yes.
Doesn't mean we still can't look
Yes.
at it, though. So that way we can avoid that in the future, something we can consider.
Yeah, it tends to fluctuate a little, but I have gone over the last 2 or 3 years over the salary
Well,
line.
it's like Rick has been saying a lot, we've got a lot of things coming up that are gonna take some time. So this might be something come this time of year, we know we got them coming. Got some bigger things that are coming in front of us, let's try to adjust
Getting
for it
busier
now.
too at the planning board level and the zoning board level
Zoning
than
board
it
has
has
been
been.
extremely
There's
busy.
a lot of,
and
there's a lot of things, that's why I'm
extra
saying if we can.
meetings and a lot of
we can
extra time.
Adjust it now, not saying we still might not go over, but it's something we can consider when the
It's
budget
not
comes
too
back
late
to us
to
again.
adjust it anyway at this point. You're gonna make a note of it so we can
Yeah,
look into
I
it.
Yeah, we can adjust it. I mean, maybe it's something that you even want to bring to the budget committee too, because obviously it's got to go to them too.
Right,
You know, they
and
can
by the
always
time it
suggest
gets
too.
to them, we'll be closer, we'll see,
Right, they can always
where we're
suggest it
at
too.
as far as, but again, the other line is considerably a lot left in it.
Right, I'm not saying that we still can't do that in the
Right.
future. I'm just saying it's something that we know that we've got a lot coming this
Mm-hmm.
year. Sounds like we've run into a lot of the zoning issues.
Oh, yes,
So
definitely.
if we know it's coming, let's see if maybe we can
Been a
offset it
lot
again.
more cases, but there's also been, with the turnover of the board, they have been doing an excellent job and also having extra meetings because of that learning curve, and they've been putting a lot of time into it. And the other thing too is just it isn't just that, it's because now I'll be going into annual report time in the you know, that's starting to, we'll be starting to speed up now as we get toward the end of the year and I start getting ready to do that. There's a lot of preparation work and getting a lot of the school reports in now and that type of thing, so. Anyway, I appreciate your time.
Thank you.
Thanks for bringing that to our attention.
Okay.
Maybe that's something you can get with the budget committee on. I don't know what kind of number you might be wanting to add or how you want to kind of judge it, but it's something
I'll
that,
speak to Joe about it. Probably should, yeah, comes, it's.
you know what I mean?
to come
It's just a
through the
thought.
board.
It's just a thought. Doesn't mean we have to.
I
It's
can
just,
certainly, you know, give some
yeah.
information that would be helpful.
It's just a thought.
Thank you, DJ.
Okay, next.
Guys, under unfinished business, you see a big stack of things there. I put those in there just so I wouldn't forget what was kind of on the docket, so the only real thing I have tonight is the lunch policy amendment. You guys changed at one of the prior meetings that staff can now sit at their desk as opposed to previously where they had to get up and leave.
So we gotta sign that.
Yeah, that's the only change.
Okay, I did notice that you have the engineering contract on Bow Lake. Now, I know that Scott was real adamant he wanted to see the other two. Is this something, because I know we want to kind of get a decision on this at some point. Is this something that maybe we can get those two representatives in here the next meeting? Even if it's just for a 5-minute question and answer, because that's all Scott kind of really wanted to ask him. I don't know if he's looked at the tape or not.
He said he was going to read the proposals. He asked me which two proposals it was. If the board wants, we can ask to bring them back in.
Well, or I guess it's
I
really
can
up to
imagine they're
him.
gonna wanna come back again.
It's really up to him, because he's the one that has the questions. I just want him to make sure he gets his questions answered before we make an attempt to, if he says he's okay with coming in here, the next meeting he's available, and says he's got a decision, then we can, it's, you know what I mean, he's the one that had the questions. He wanted to see the other two proposals, that's what he asked. So I wouldn't wanna
All right,
step on his toes by making it, you know how, like he said, sometimes if you make a decision without somebody, they can get a little bit offended. And I
Yeah.
don't wanna.
No, I'll ask him, see if he's
We got a
happy with
meeting
the
next
reading.
Tuesday, right?
Yeah, there's meetings.
Tuesday, so, I mean, we
Booked out.
can, provincially, he's gonna be back, correct?
Yes.
So we should be able to hammer this out next Tuesday and come with a decision on it. I can't see, I mean, unless he's not, I don't see an issue with that. Are you okay with that, Rick? Because he was the one that had the questions, right?
Yeah, you missed the thing, and
It's too bad he was out of town, but, I mean, I don't see why we can't, that way.
if I was an engineering company, I wouldn't have come back. You already did one proposal.
I just don't wanna hold
It's kinda-
anybody, hold up the process. I know we don't have to make the decision tonight, it's not like it's the end of the world, but
I'm with you.
I don't wanna keep kicking the can down the road for a few questions. I know what his questions are, but I don't wanna speak for him.
Yeah, I'll get with him and see what he wants.
I'd like to try to get that taken care of next week, or, I know we have a bunch of meetings right in a row, so we should be able to hammer them out.
Yeah.
So moving back to this lunch policy,
Yes.
the only question I have is, with them, and I know I said I didn't have a problem sitting at their desk originally, but when someone walks up to that window and they're sitting at their desk and they don't get up and wait on them, what kind of problems is this gonna cause?
I think,
If the person that's supposed to be answering the window is sitting there eating their lunch and someone comes to gets waited on, and like we said, we didn't expect them to get up and wait on them if it's their lunchtime, how are we gonna work this out? Because I can see where we're gonna have some friction. Someone comes in and they're sitting there eating their lunch, they're still gonna wanna get waited on.
may I suggest like I know some
So-
places do like an out to lunch sign at the door, be back half hour, I mean, or on the,
Is everybody eating lunch at the same time? Is that what's
that's the
going
other thing
on?
too, could we stagger lunches? I mean, I know I don't wanna, it depends.
No, I
on
just
what-
wanted to mention, I just don't wanna get into a problem where people are gonna get mad. They're gonna come here at 12 o'clock and people are eating their lunch and they're not gonna wait on them until 12:30. I'm just trying to stop us from getting into that problem.
What do other?
What do you think, Joe?
I mean,
It's-
I don't think we're the only town that has this scenario. So, like, do they put a sign out that says out to lunch? I know, like, a lot of smaller businesses will do that, and they'll still eat lunch at their, mechanics, for instance, will eat lunch at their desk. They might put a sign out to lunch or whatever. I don't know. It's a tough one.
What we do is I just man the window. That's somebody thinks, I just man the window, because my office is right there. If the ladies are at lunch, and if I have questions, I'll ask. But for the most part, I just take care of it.
How often
That's what we do.
how often do people
Well, I
come
didn't know
in
what
there?
was going on, how it was being done, that's why
It's
I
not
asked
very
the
often,
question.
maybe a couple times a week.
All right.
Usually lunch is very
So
slow,
it's,
just
so
for
it's
that
not
reason.
something that's a huge
It's
concern.
not a concern at all.
All right. Moving
All right,
on.
so, I'm just gonna make a motion to sign this because we've already discussed this.
Yep. You're gonna make a motion?
I don't think we have to make a motion, we're just signing something that we've already.
A motion would be good, at least.
I'll make a motion to sign the new policy stating that employees are allowed to take their break at their desk, but they must punch out.
Yeah, they're not being paid for lunch.
I'll second that. Any more discussion? Seeing none, I'll call for the vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Passes 2-0.
I would like though, Joe, if it becomes more of an issue, maybe it's something we can rediscuss, if it gets to be excessive. I don't think it will, but.
If something happens, we can always, work around it. The ladies are very managed.
I could just see where some people, if they came and you're out to lunch, and they're gonna be very happy if they have to wait there for half an hour. Okay, moving on.
As far as the wage study goes, I agree with most of it, but it's just, is it gonna pass through the voting process?
Yeah. It's a little bit of money.
It's a tough one.
Yeah, it's quite a bit of money.
I mean, who doesn't wanna make more money? So that's a tough one for me to say, they don't deserve it, cause I always want more money too. All right, moving on. Acceptance of minutes, or you got anything else you wanna hit on before?
No.
What about timesheet, I mean,
I didn't bring any of the other stuff. I just put it on there to keep track of what's
Okay.
kind of pending.
How about assessing forms then, if we don't have it? Oh, we
You gotta
got
do
minutes?
minutes.
All right, so we're gonna do the minutes.
October 10th.
next week, we'll have a decision. I know that's why you were here. I don't blame you. At least I'd wanna try. I mean, I get it. And I get where you're coming from, I get where they're all coming from, but I don't wanna jump
Step
on
on Scott's toes.
Well, he specifically said he wanted to look at it. If he didn't say that, and he said he had one in mind, we could move forward, but he specifically, and there's two of us, we could move forward, but I'd be kinda disappointed if I was in his shoes. All right, what do we gotta do? Which one, minutes?
Minutes.
Which ones?
Minutes.
You don't have a date on mine.
October 10th.
All right, make a motion to accept October 10th minutes as written.
Second?
All in favor, aye.
Aye. Passes 2-0.
This, Scott wasn't here during this one. Oh, he must've came in late.
Yeah, he did come in late.
You like how I sat over here, so I didn't have to?
That is nice. This is the intent to cut for the Northwood Meadows. The state has that bid out now, and this is their intent to
All
cut.
right, I'm gonna make a motion to accept the intent to cut. Do we have to accept any taxes? Or of all
It's
taxes?
the state, yeah.
Okay, so, all right, make a motion for that, so you can
I'll
second.
second it for discussion.
What, I know there's nothing we can do. Do we get anything out of this when they do this? Do we
Yeah,
don't
they're
get?
gonna pay us for some of this.
Okay,
How is this gonna happen?
they're gonna do it when,
Are they gonna do it in the fall, or how are they gonna do it when people are in there walking and doing their thing? That's what concerns me.
Yeah, they're gonna do it here. The guy, if the gentleman sign it tonight, he'll get to go ahead and start tomorrow.
what are they gonna, where are they
How are they
cutting?
We
gonna
wanted
do,
to start next,
Where are they
last
cutting?
week.
how are they gonna do that with people in there walking and,
Where are they clear cutting?
They're not clear cutting, they're
But where are
selective.
they cutting?
they're
It's-
cutting a lot of lumber. Look at the board feet.
Yeah,
50
it's through
cuts.
the
It's a
whole
huge
park.
amount.
So are they just trimming it out?
Yep.
So they're gonna have tractor and trailers going in and out. There's skidders running with people in there.
Yeah.
I know it's none of our business, but I
I'm
just
just
I
trying
just
to
see
figure
an
out-
accident
I'm just trying to
happening.
figure out where they're cutting, because a lot of those side trails, you can't get in with a skidder and all that. But
No,
that's
there's
them.
access trails in there.
Yeah, I mean, I've been on most of them, they're not very I'm okay with it, I'm not very
I mean,
big.
there's nothing we can say, but
No,
they own it.
just,
but
I'm with Rick, I'm just concerned
I'm just
about the
concerned
public.
about the safety factor.
Yeah. If it makes you feel any better, this particular gentleman has done quite a few with the state, and we talked with the state about him. He's put up a bond.
I
He
realize that, I
he
saw
brought in
that.
a certified check saying, you know what, it's,
Well, that covers us then.
yeah.
I'm okay, I'm good.
I don't have a problem with it, I'm just concerned that someone's gonna get hurt when you got people in there walking, riding horses, you got
Can we-
guys dropping trees.
Can we get with the state park and actually maybe put up some signs, kind of like construction in progress?
Yes.
You know, or watch for falling trees, just whatever, whatever they suggest.
Yep.
Just something to make people aware, because
Yeah.
I'm sure a lot of people
Yeah,
aren't
I
gonna
mean,
be aware
I'm
until
sure
they
they're gonna
walk
have
up on
some
it.
sort of, he's gonna have some sort of safety precautions in place anyways, but just
would hope.
as they're going in, you know?
We'll get with the state
It's
and see
not our
what they can do.
problem, but I still hate to see anybody get hurt.
All right, so, motion? Vote?
You need to
Aye.
vote.
Aye. Passes 2-0. Still people out there, are they waiting to come back in, or what are they doing?
It looks like you lost the whole crowd this time around.
Okay.
This is a cemetery deed and the perpetual care.
All right, motion for cemetery deed for Earl C. Strout and Audrey L. Strout, paid in full on 10/11/17.
Second.
Have we done the traditional background, these people who live in Northwood,
Yep.
blah, 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 blah,
Yep.
all that good stuff?
It's all right.
No, I'm just wondering.
Yep, it is.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion passes 2-0.
And along with that is the perpetual care one also, which is 100%. So aye for both, 2-0 on both of those. What's next?
This is the report of a timber cut, so they've already made their cut and now they're paying us taxes. There's 2 places to sign.
Okay. So motion to report, the reporting timber cut taxes have already been paid for map 212, lot 65.
Second.
Would you like me, I don't really need to say the amount that was collected if it's already been collected, right?
This is authorizing Judy to collect it.
All right.
So
Any discussion?
Aye.
Call for the vote.
Aye, it is.
Aye. Passes 2-0.
manifest this time, yes.
All right.
That's,
Payroll.
yeah.
Motion for payroll manifest number 22 in the amount of $76,972.53. I think there's another meeting. Do they need to get downstairs?
Second.
I think so.
There's people out
That's
there.
what it looks like. There might be like maybe a highway meeting possibly
I
downstairs.
don't know what it is.
We'll wait for you to come back.
There was only 2 on that.
Oh, it's the same people that were in here?
They're just hanging out there chatting.
Okay.
We don't want to come in and say something.
We weren't sure. All right, so motion to accept the payroll manifest, amount of $76,972.53.
Second. Any discussion?
Nothing.
Seeing none, I'll call for the vote.
Aye.
All in favor? Aye. Passes 2-0.
We got
Next up, we have, this is for the Highway Committee met last night, and this is for the contract for the under drain repair on Bow Lake Road. I've attached some bullet points that the Highway Department, or I'm sorry, Highway Committee wanted to make sure we're okay with this project. One of them was shoot elevations for the road to make sure that the actual water flow is going to be correct and not wash out the driveway. Make sure that if they do come into ledge when they dig, that we're not over budget and they just hammer away and charge us for it. Make sure the phone pole is not disturbed, and make sure the pavement is cut on an angle so when the plow truck goes past. And this was on the recommendation of the highway department, or highway
What
committee.
was the story with the ledge you just said? The ledge?
In case they run into ledge, we're
They
not
don't want us
giving
to
them.
overcharge us. So in other words, if
We're
they
not
get to the
what?
point, they get to the point where we're over budget, he wants them to come to us and tell us not to just keep going and keep going. Is that how I understand it?
If they hit ledge, they don't blast that ledge. They have to come and say, we hit ledge, and we go from there, giving the selectmen power to decide what to do.
All right.
So in other words, they don't just
No, I
blast it and charge
understand. I
us.
know there was a discussion about it last night. I just didn't quite catch the way he said
Now,
it.
my quick
talk
question
fast.
is, this was budgeted for, correct?
Right.
All right, no, I'm.
Well, it's in that highway
Yeah,
money
I'm-
that we
I'm-
got back.
Yeah, it's fine. I just wanted to ask, just for the record. All
And
right, I'm good.
there's a purchase order, and then there's also the contract that needs to be signed on the back.
All right, so here, I'll make a motion for a purchase order for GMI Asphalt. This is for the under drain for Bull Lake Road in the amount of $16,260, as long as they follow the recommendations of the Highway Committee.
I'll second that. Conversation. Start date and finish date.
Yes.
Oh, the 17th, November 17th, he said no later than that.
Okay.
So,
He's waiting for his crew to finish up, and he's going to do this road, he's going to do this project, and he's going to do that center seam down Bow Lake
Bow
that
Lake
they,
Road.
that they had problems with before. Yeah, November 17th.
Okay.
So is that in the writing or anywhere?
We
or
can
just
do that.
verbal?
I'll make an amendment to the purchase, to the motion, to have all work completed on this project by November 17th, 2017.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Passes 2-0.
Thank you, Rick, for remembering that.
Well,
No,
I know
that's
we
fine.
talked
We've
about
been
it in the
doing that-
past and said
We've been
dates are
doing that a
important.
lot, and that's the best way to do these things,
Dates
so
are
that way we have
important, we said
dates,
so.
exactly. No,
consistency counts.
you're absolutely right. We've been doing that all along, why not keep doing it? Okay, what's next?
Next up, this is for Mark Lambert. As part of the grant we received, we got quotes, and he would be the one replacing the storm windows on the outside of the building.
Is this who the facility committee recommends, or is this the only person that bid?
We got 2 bids. He's the cheapest, and the facility committee does like him. He was recommended
He's
for
done some
several
work with
other.
us before, right?
Yep.
He's a
The
solid
library
guy.
and different
I'm
places.
okay. If you're okay with them, I'm okay. I'm not gonna. Motion to accept the vendor Mark Lambert, and he's replacing the storm doors and the storm windows in the town hall in the amount of $3,375. This money will be coming out of a grant that we received.
No, this was budgeted in the
Oh, this money will be
facilities.
coming out of a budget that was budgeted in the facilities committee. I'm sorry. What was the grant for windows? Which building?
$10,000 for the single panes,
Okay.
the big portion.
Okay. So this is replacing what?
The storm windows on the outside.
Oh, okay.
The thin piece.
All right, I get what you're saying. Yep, no, I get it. So that's for the windows inside, this is for the outside?
Yes.
Got it. All right, now it makes sense. Good.
All in favor?
Aye.
Passes 2-0.
I think you'll see a huge increase in saving some money on heat when we get that all done.
Gets drafty in here in the wintertime.
Well, both ways, plus losing AC in the summer.
This is a reimbursement for Gary for some cable supplies that he purchased, and
Okay.
information's on the back. That's coming out of the cable
Motion
trust.
to
Reimburse.
what is that word I'm looking for?
Reimburse.
Reimburse, there we go. Gary Garnett for cable supplies in the amount of, is that $81.97, Joe?
I believe so, yes.
That looks like an 8 to me.
Second.
Yep. And this is for just DVDs and ink. Yep, I'm okay.
Any discussion?
Aye.
Seeing none? Aye. Passes 2-0.
So we got DES reviewed our permit for the Mary Waldron Beach.
Okay.
They requested more information. With Jay Parker, they've started the process now. We have half of the PO encumbered. This is a request for the other half, so that way we don't hold up construction as we go. This does not mean we're paying anybody. This just means as they submit bills, we can pay them.
Okay. You okay with that?
We're not paying anybody, just
I
if they
know,
send me a
but-
bill.
I know. But we want to make sure we don't pay any final payments till we're 100% satisfied.
I agree.
Because I know the tree guy got paid right along, and
We also owe him money still.
I
and
know,
he's not
but I'm
done
just
yet.
saying, I just want to make sure before any final payments are made that we're completely happy with what has been done.
I agree.
So when it's a final payment, I would appreciate it if you would tell us that it is the final payment,
So
so
we can go down and
we
look
all
at it.
make sure that it's done and
We're
done.
satisfied, I agree with that.
Everybody's satisfied.
Yeah, I agree with that. Other than that, I can sign on that. That's fine. I like that.
I'm gonna put a note on this just so that way, not that you wouldn't know, obviously, but
No, but I just think it's good business to
it is.
make
Alright.
sure that everybody's satisfied when it's over. I don't want to make the sole decision and have the other two guys unhappy with it.
Make a motion for J. Parker and daughter, and this is the second half of the warrant article for repair of Mary Waldron Beach for the amount of $23,000.
Second?
And Joe's just for mentioning it, Joe's gonna let us know when all final payments are due so we can make sure it's done to the
Everybody's
board's
content.
approval. Other than that, I'm good.
Call for the vote. All
Aye.
in favor? Aye. Passes 2-0.
What else we got?
One more PO, the gentleman that did our roadside mowing, Mr. Sewell, he went over by 3.3 hours.
Okay.
So, because it was a vote of 80 hours, I can't approve this without the Board of Selectmen. So it's only $285.
I'd like to make a motion for Sewell roadside mowing for the amount of $285.60. He went over 3 hours over.
The only thing I got to say, it's hard to hold somebody right to the hour.
My only
And that's all I'm gonna
question
say about it.
is
If it was 15, 20 hours, I'd say something
right.
different, but
My only question is I know before we gave this bid out, one of the things was concerned was the last year we were concerned we didn't get our hours properly done. Is that something that we were concerned with this year, or did we get an actual
Yep.
real?
Yeah, we tracked him when he came in, and then tracked him when he left.
I just
and-
know
and we
that
watched
was
it.
an issue that we had questions with last year. That's all I'm bringing it up. I'm not doubting that he did a good job, but just to know that we brought that up.
Yeah, and you know what, I talked to the father of the two. He was a little upset. He felt like we didn't trust him. But I had to tell him, like, we're just doing our job to make sure that everybody, the town gets what they pay for.
But I'm okay with that. So, vote.
all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes 2-0.
This is other things that need to be signed. I need the chairman of the selectmen to sign this. This is the actual paperwork for accepting the grant funds. And then I need the board to vote to authorize Rick to sign this. So I got two of them.
So I'll make a motion to authorize Rick to sign a form for receiving grants. Is this for the bridge, or is this for all grants?
No, this is for the window grant.
Grants for accepting the windows.
Yep.
And this is also another one for authorizing signature for, what's this one for?
It's a.
Another grant?
Yeah.
And for another grant, oh, this is for the acceptance of the license plate grant from DHR.
Yes.
All in
Second
favor?
that for discussion. Any discussion?
No.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Passes 2-0.
You gentlemen chose a plow contractor at the last meeting. He actually backed out, said he couldn't handle the insurance. It was too expensive for him to put on one plow truck. So I have actually two,
This is for the six-wheeler, correct?
yes, the six-wheeler.
Now, correct me if I'm wrong, didn't we go with somebody that's already plowing for us?
No. We gave it to,
I thought we gave it to Damaris and
no,
Sons, because
we
he's...
voted to give it to
Manchester.
Haven, not Manchester
Okay,
Haven.
okay. No, I thought he was who we gave it to, my bad.
Yeah, but Manchester Paving, they backed out
Okay.
like 2 days later. We still have Mr. Kaffmeyer. His truck does not have a wing, which Charlie needs a wing. Damaris said he can do it. He still has to buy a truck. He was the first in line. And then Mr. Stephen Twombly, he plows for the state, and he has a truck and he's ready to go.
Okay, so, my question would be, now Damaris already plows for us, correct?
He does.
But he's gotta
my
go out and buy a
question is-
truck.
Huh?
He's gotta go out and buy a truck. That's kinda...
Right, so if we grant him this contract,
And let's say he doesn't get financed for a truck or something goes wrong, then what are we gonna do?
Well, that's what I'm saying, we'll be back where we just was.
So,
So
are
it's
we
the best
saying
decision
to
to,
go with Twombly, who's already got, and it's all, everything's the same price, right? They're all the same rate?
Yeah, they're all the same rate.
He's already got a truck, he's already ready. I don't like taking the business from somebody that's already plowing for us. But if he had already had the truck, I don't know, it's up to you. I'm okay with giving it to the guy that's already set up. Kaffmeyer, if he had the wing,
Yeah, he doesn't have
I'll
one.
second that for discussion. Why was Bob Kaffmeyer thrown in with the truck with the wing? Why wasn't he in with the 1 tons?
because we had already had those ones. That's the same people that did it last year. This guy, Daco didn't have this truck, that's why we're bidding this one out. So we're right, correct? Is that
Yes.
how it worked? We've already got all the other trucks, it was just Daco was down a truck, so that's why we're bidding out to replace that
Right,
truck.
6-wheeler.
And, you
I
know,
was just wondering why he got thrown in with it.
Yeah,
I guess he decided he was hoping that we'd take him even though he didn't have a wing, I guess, huh?
Yeah, that's what he thought.
But Charlie really needs the wing. I mean, if the road agent says that's what he wants, I'd like to stay with what he
No,
wants.
I agree, I agree.
So
I
do you
was
wanna
just
go
asking
with
a simple
Steve, do you wanna
question.
go with Twombly? Seems he's
That's
all
fine
ready.
with me.
Because I don't wanna keep dragging our feet and hope and then,
As long as you can get him to sign, if not, you'll be back at the next meeting with something different, I guess.
all right, so I'll make a motion to accept the bid from Stephen L. Twombly for, for the 6-wheel with wing in the amount of
$90.
$90 an hour.
Any discussion?
It'll be a tandem axle dump truck with plow and sander and wing.
I messed that up. It's a single axle.
Single axle,
Yeah.
sorry.
That's my
Single
fault.
axle dump truck with plow and sander with wing.
Any more discussion?
No.
Seeing none, I'll call for the vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
My only suggestion with Joe, I know we still got a little bit of time, but you never know, we've had snow on Halloween before, let's try to get this buttoned up.
Yep.
So that way if something happens, we can go to the next one.
I have a quick question. I don't know if I signed that in the right spot before I looked.
And you're supposed to go down here.
Yeah.
Authorized signature, I bet.
No, you're good.
Okay,
Yeah, no, he's good.
that works. All right, what do we got now?
Raffle permit for Co-Brown.
Motion to accept the raffle for Cole Brown, FCCLA in junior class. Looks like they're just giving out prizes of crafts.
Second, any discussion?
Nope, I hope they do really good.
Seeing none, I'll call for the vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Passes 2 to
Is this
0.
for the craft fair?
I don't know what that's for. I put it in my packet and honestly didn't look.
I'm guessing it's probably for the craft fair. What else we got?
We got tax buy down time.
Okay, anything else we gotta approve? Or
Nope,
before we
just,
go to that? I wasn't sure, I noticed a last minute paper come in, I wasn't sure if something that I needed to know about.
we can talk about it. This is the recycling committee. They disbanded
Okay,
October 11th. They said they're gonna wait until the Board of Selectmen decide they have something for them to do, and then they'll come back.
There was 2 ladies here tonight. Were they here to speak, or you don't know what they were here to do?
I
or-
think, I think they're.
I didn't see 'em on the
I think they're
agenda.
discouraged with the fact, to speak to that, I'm a little discouraged that they're disbanding just because we didn't like their particular last idea. I think when you're on these committees, you have to expect that not every idea you come with is gonna be met with great enthusiasm. I mean, you know, you were at a meeting, I gave them plenty of ideas to go a different direction, and they didn't listen, they didn't wanna. I mean, we asked about magnets, when they come in here and ask us for a direction, how long ago were the magnets talked about? Almost a year? So if you can't, that was a task we gave them, and they never even followed through with it. So for them to say we didn't give them a task is kinda like, really? We did. That's just the way I feel on it.
Yeah, I
Because
don't
we
know.
gave them money to get the design. I have yet to see a design. Have you seen one?
I haven't, no.
So, my point being is, don't say we didn't give you a direction when we did.
just like to say, hopefully in the future, maybe they can get their thoughts together and
I think we just
come
need to
back
be,
before
we need to
us
be
and-
realistic with the things that we want down there. I mean, it's just, there's not a lot of money to be made in recycling. It's a transfer station, not a huge place where we want to hold on to things for long periods of time, which it sounded like that's the way they wanted to go. And I think to Joe's point, Joe mentioned this a while ago, I'd like to get some more information on it. One of their concerns was the refrigerators sitting outside. I mean, no other place puts them inside. So maybe we can look at that machine that you were talking about before. I don't think we got all the information. You know, like, I'd like to know, not that the price of how much it cost is the big deal, but what's it cost to get the permits? How often do they need to be renewed? What's the upkeep? Like, do they gotta be, I don't know the word I'm looking for, serviced or whatever, calibrated? That's the word.
The transfer station attendants would have to go to a course to be licensed.
Right,
to-
and how often do they gotta
withdraw the
go? What's it
Freon.
gonna cost? Just, and how much, I guess, would we save? Because then we wouldn't have to charge, because we're not paying somebody to do it. We'd be able to, maybe, all that money we're getting for the refrigerators, maybe we could knock that price down. Just, that's another direction that, some information that they can get us if they want to do that.
It would be nice to have a machine, but
I'd like to
we
see,
gotta have somebody that's got time to operate it and is gonna be
like,
certified
I
to
get that they
operate
have
it.
these great visions, but we gotta remember that this is Northwood and we all know there's not a whole lot of money to be made in recycling. We recycle now, we're not making any, we're losing a lot of money basically doing it. So let's be realistic and not just give up because you can't have a building. I mean, there's other programs that we can do that they can focus on. I mean, I know Epsom just had the great clothing event. It doesn't sound like a lot, but that's clothes that aren't going in the trash. Okay, no, we're good.
No, I didn't want to interrupt.
No, when I heard about that, I was really disappointed because I just felt like they made it sound like we didn't want to work with them when we've given them, you've been in the meetings where I've given them chances to take a different direction and they just didn't take the initiative to follow it.
Next.
So in your packet, you had a table that looked kind of like that. I provided a breakdown of 3 options, the maximum buy down to an only 1.5% buy down. You can obviously choose anywhere in between that, anywhere in between there you want.
So I just want to touch on something real quick. What was it last year before we bought it down? What was the tax rate last year before we bought it down?
Used 530 something, so it came down about $1.
Yeah, but so the tax rate was 23 what?
It's 23.98 now, so it's
It's almost, we'll call it 25 just to be on the safe side. It'd be 24.98.
Yeah, it was, something like that,
25
about
to be-
25.
25 to be on the safe side. So I guess my question is what's the increase? Just so the taxpayers know, because I mean, it obviously went up 1%.
It's like a $3 increase from last year, weren't we 23 something last
That was
year?
after we bought it down. My question is what the 2632, why is that different from the 25 that we bought down last year?
Yeah, you know, the real increase, the school went up about $1, let me see my paper. I may have
Because you know they're gonna ask, that's why I'm wondering.
Nope, I don't. The school went up a little bit, $1.78. The town went up $1. This is their own individual rates.
Okay.
And the town went up $1.30 something. Most of the towns was, and I can't speak to the school, I didn't dig in, but most of the towns came from warrant articles. Boat ramps,
Yep.
road building, giving money to milfoil, not to pick on anybody, but it all adds up. These pennies here and there turn into dollars.
Well, I actually see, I guess I misunderstood the way the tax rate works. I thought that what this was setting on this year's expenses. So this tax rate is based on last year's warrant articles?
Yeah, what was voted in March is what this tax rate is applied to.
Okay, so I would say the town increase would be mostly probably the beach and, because the milfoil didn't go up any except for that one.
Yeah.
So it'd be a lot of so if somebody asked, that's where it came from, a lot of it.
Yeah, every 100,000 is 22 cents.
Yeah, so it
About,
changes,
so
okay.
it does.
All right.
So what was the total increase this year?
1.3, like a
Dollars?
Dollars per thousand.
The town portion, you mean?
The whole thing.
It
I
was,
thought it was like $3 or something from last year.
No, $3 from the buy-down rate. The actual rate that we bought down last year was roughly $25, so it really only went up $1.32, and then whatever we buy it down. We bought it down to $23 last year,
Yeah,
that's
but
why
what-
it looks like so
You gotta
much.
count what you're buying down. I mean,
so
that's
what was-
not free money.
no, so it's sitting at 23.98 right now,
But we bought it down from 25 last year.
about, yeah.
Roughly. So if we, say we buy it down to that, roughly that dollar again, the tax rate's only gonna be, it's gonna go up the same amount, it'll be 25.32, if we did it that way.
Yeah.
But it looks like the best we could, I don't think we could do the max.
No.
No, yeah.
You know
that's
what?
unwise.
People go vote, they buy things, and when you vote, you gotta pay for what you buy.
What did we do last year?
Nothing is free.
Last year we used, I want to say 538,000.
And what do we have in there to buy this down?
There's 1.6 million now, but you can only use about 800,000.
I would suggest either the lowest one or the mid one. Obviously the max one is out. Well, what do you feel, Rick?
Like I say,
Is this something that has
when
to
you
be
vote to
decided
buy
tonight?
stuff, you need to pay for it, and
Yeah, kind of.
people need to keep that in mind when they're voting, that when you vote, your taxes are gonna go up, and that's what you need to keep in mind.
If you give me a dollar amount you want me to bring it down, say if you want to bring it down a dollar.
I'd like to bring it down, I mean, my opinion, I'd like to stay on course with what we brought it down last year, which would probably be the mid-range at 405. I get what Rick is saying.
9%?
That's what we brought it down last year, correct?
What?
No, that's percent remaining, I don't know what that means.
That's the percent remaining in the kitty.
Okay. So, we're only, all right, so, think of it this way, Rick. You gain 40 cents on the dollar, but you only lose 1% remaining, if you did the 1.5% buy down. So if you do the mid-range buy down, it's only 1% less remaining, but you gain almost 50 cents on the dollar for the taxpayers. Do you get what I'm trying to say there?
Not really.
So, it's like if you had $10 and you spent and you can have $9 of that left or $10 of it left, but it's only but you can save 40 cents on the end for every dollar for the taxpayers. I guess maybe that's not quite the best way to explain it, but you get what I'm trying to say there?
I see what you're saying. You get more bang for your buck per dollar.
Well, you're only losing 1% more of the kitty by buying it down 0.5% more.
So what's that in dollars? What's the dollar figure that we're buying
Well,
down
you
by?
figure amount remaining would be 1.25 million if we bought it mid-range, and the amount remaining if you only bought it down 1.5 would be 1.45 million. So you're talking 200,000 difference. And you're saving the taxpayers 50 cents, roughly 40 cents on a dollar. Right? Is that how that works? About that tax rate, 40 cents, it'd be about 40 cents on a dollar? Or 40 cents on 1,000?
So this is the amount you'll be using, 400,000? It'll bring it down to this tax rate.
Right, but what, if you were to do this one, what's the difference between this one and that one, like dollar-wise?
So this, the mid-range is 405, so
Yeah,
it's 200.
I get that, but I mean, like, as far as like the percentage from 25.45 to 25.88, I mean, what would that, how much money would that save the taxpayers per thousand, I guess is what I think Rick is trying to ask. If you can,
Oh, I see what you're saying.
if you can, you know what I mean, like, what, are we getting a good bang for spending that 200,000?
Yeah, you get about, that's about 43, it would be about 43 cents per thousand.
So. I mean,
Going
it's
to the
not,
mid-range.
it's not like you're saving the taxpayers a huge amount of money by making a decision either way.
They voted to buy what they bought.
So you're saying.
That's my,
So Scott, I don't know if it helped you guys, but Scott sent me an email because he got the same stuff. He says he is for buying the tax rate down by $1.
That's what I was thinking.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking, that'd be the mid-range, 405, right? Because we couldn't buy it by an exact dollar, correct?
Yeah, the exact dollar amount you would use,
So it'd be more, a little bit
$468,352.
more than the mid-range. You wanna buy it down a full dollar then? I'm okay with that. I'm okay with that. Because that's about what we bought it down last year.
Yeah, it is.
It is.
I was thinking about staying right, all right, well, let's do that then. So why don't you, can I have that exact number then?
I'll just show you.
And what's the tax rate gonna be?
It
You
would
have the,
be,
what, is that what it would be? That would be what it would bring it down to? That's what it looks like.
yeah, whatever is $1 less of. So it would come down to $25.32.
All right, so what we're gonna do, I'm gonna make a motion to buy down the tax rate from 26.32 down to 25.32 for the amount of $468,352.
What was that amount again?
$468,352. This would leave us with roughly 8% remaining in our kitty,
Yes.
roughly.
I'll second that for conversation. Any more
Um,
conversation?
I think it's great to buy down the taxes. I agree with what Rick's saying. I'm not sure if everybody in town really knows how how this actual process works.
We don't.
So I'm not sure how how we could even explain that to people how it works, but maybe it would make our job a little bit less stressful. Huh? I just feel like, you know, when people open their taxes, they're like, oh my God, my taxes went up, but they don't realize where it came from.
Well, the thing is, when you go out and vote yes, you're spending money, and you gotta pay for it somewhere.
Right, but
Nothing is free.
But like you said, when we're buying down a tax rate, I mean, in all honesty, that we're actually buying down them saying yes, so it doesn't look like they're paying for what they said yes. You know what I mean?
Right, and that's the way I look at it.
I mean, I like doing that, and I think the people deserve that, but it's
If it
kinda
ever
like-
becomes a time when we don't have money to buy it down, then it's gonna be a problem.
Yeah, that's my concern, is when are we gonna get to a point where we're not gonna be able to do this? Or it's gonna be so expensive, we're not gonna be able to buy it down. It's just something I'd be leery about.
That's something we can't control. When the
All right, do you
voters go
need this
behind the
back?
booth and vote,
We'll keep this.
we can't control what they vote.
All right, well, it is what it is. We voted aye, 2-0, so.
2-0,
And we're buying it down $1.
reduce it for
No, that
$1.
works.
This is nothing to sign.
Which is still only, it's up $2 roughly from last year, right? About $2,
Yes.
$1.50-ish.
Yep. $1.50.
Tax buy down. Nothing under budget review tonight, right?
No, Scott.
Yeah.
A little bit of, I had a gentleman come in today. He was concerned about the old Spike Bryant property, 170 Sherburne. He says he wishes the town would sell it. He doesn't want to buy it. He made a point. But it's falling apart and he wants to see it cleaned up. So, I figured I'd let the board know.
I've known that for quite a while, and we've talked about it, but, and
I
I would
think
like
that's
to,
one
I
of
would
those-
also like to say, you have said in the past, we own the property.
We do.
Some deed research was done, and the bank has a lien on it for $115,000 in Rockingham County Register of Deeds that hasn't been released, so someone needs to follow up on that. And make sure that, before we get spending money on it, that they're gonna release that, or what the problem is.
My other concern would be, is that something we want to clean up before we sell it, or try to make that part of the
Well,
agreement when
either
we sell
way,
it?
either way,
Because I'm sure that cleaning up that property is going to be quite the
it's gonna be
undertaking.
expensive.
So maybe that's something we need to,
Can look
is there
at it
something we can get a
anyway.
quote on possibly? You know, just a rough ballpark figure of what somebody might think it might cost us? So
Either that, or
we
you can
know-
put it out to bid as is, and it's up to them to clean it
Yeah,
up or
and
whatever
yeah,
they pay
see,
for it.
just kind of weigh those options out. I mean, because if it's gonna cost us, I'll just throw some numbers out. Let's say 100,000 to clean it up. Is it worth us cleaning it up, or?
I can
bidding
see
it out?
spending 20,000 real quick.
Oh, easy.
Yeah, I
Real
mean,
quick.
and also if we say we spend 20,000 or 30,000 to clean it up, are we gonna be able to recruit that by selling it? You know what I mean? Because how much is the property worth cleaned up? That's the other things that we need to kind of consider.
Weigh it out.
Right, should we make whoever buys it clean it up, or, you know?
And like I say, we need to check into what's on the deed.
Yeah, obviously, that's definitely.
Before we go spending money on it, find out that they're not gonna release the lien and we've already put another 20 or 30,000
Yep.
into it.
Yeah, let me check into it.
Because there is an attachment on the deed saying $115,000 owed to the finance company.
What else we got? Anything?
No, I want to let you guys know trunk or treat is on the 28th. Parking starts at 4. We were lucky enough, Eversource helped us out. There was some concern about
Lights.
how dark it was.
I saw they were up there the other day, I didn't know what they were
Yeah.
doing.
Yeah, they got in there and they put one light up for the parking lot.
Portable? Or is it?
No, it's attached.
Is it permanent light, or is it one of those, like, on the?
No,
trailer?
it's attached, it's permanent. There was concern about leaving it on while nobody's up there. We can turn that light off when halfway through the year. So in winter, when we're not using the place, they turn it off and it's fine.
So where did they put the light on the last pole? Or,
Where the power box is.
I got a couple things I'd like to touch on the reports, if you don't have one.
No, that's all I have for you.
All right, a quick question, do you have any update on the fire truck?
yeah, that was a big one of mine too.
Yeah.
The date is coming soon.
Yeah, I talked to Nick.
Set November 1st, right?
No, I think it was December
Was it
31st.
December?
You guys voted for,
Thanksgiving, I know,
yeah,
it's
Thanksgiving.
right around, yeah, okay.
We should get it before that. I asked Nick for an update, and he says it's coming pretty quick now.
And then,
He didn't give me an exact day.
my other question is I've noticed they've put a few more lights driving into the transfer station for night, pole lights. How's the lighting in there now that it's getting switched over to Monday nights? So I know that it was an issue when I was there, I don't know if it's been addressed.
So, they put a couple lights in.
Containers, I'm not worried about like the driving, I'm talking about the strictly for the container lights, because I know that was an issue, just something that I don't know if it was addressed or not.
Let me look into it for you.
Because I know it used to be really dark, just at the containers. All the big lights are great. I'm talking about like as you're in the container or over all of them, going, like, not so much driving to them, I'm talking like going to place something in the container when you get out from under, you know what I mean?
Oh.
There's something that we may want to just look into.
Yeah, let me check it out.
But other than that, because I mean, right while we're around budget season, or is it something that we should put another light somewhere in those containers, or like the metal container, the front, you know where I'm talking
I do,
about?
I know exactly what
Where
you're talking
you get into that little cubby and it gets a little dark. It's always been dark in there, in my opinion, especially in the winter. Maybe we could consider switching Mondays to days. That's a whole different subject. Other than that, I think my other concern was trick or treating, but that's already been set. I was a little concerned that it started at 5, being that school don't get out till 4:30. A lot of kids aren't going to be home by the time trick or treating starts, but we don't set that time. So
I have a question, how's the pavilion coming up there?
Good, they got it framed up. He said he'd have it done by the time, the
28?
trunk or, yeah,
how's
by the time trunk or
how's it
treat.
look in the spot that we chose? I know that was kind of a little bit of a sore spot for a few days with the
Yeah, I
rec
heard
committee.
that it was in the swale was filled in where it was supposed
No.
for the water to run.
No, it was
I
a flat
haven't been
spot.
up to look at it, but
No, it's not in the swale. No, I think I mean, from what I saw, I was up there and they didn't have any posts up, but I thought it looked pretty good. We'll see what it looks like once they get it finished.
because I know some people were concerned about that it was filled in where the water ran.
It was flat.
I didn't realize it, but maybe there was some dirt that was pushed into the swale then? I'm gonna go out and look at it, but
Yeah.
I had some people.
I was just asking because I know
Question
that
why.
it was a question. I thought we picked a pretty good spot for the future. I was just a question. And also, now that we're on that, somebody asked me, I think we've had this discussion before, this is the Bow Lake soccer fields, about the no parking signs on the wood side. They were just wondering why we chose, I don't know if we chose that side or who the rec committee chose that side, but
Up there at the soccer fields?
Yeah, on Bow Lake
The-
side,
There was on the Bow Lake Road?
on the Bow Lake one. I guess it was, they said some, so I don't know, I don't go up there. Somebody asked me about, there was some no parking signs. And I asked them, they said the Bow Lake fields. Maybe they meant up here.
Yeah, there's parking signs up here. on
Maybe they meant up here and they gave me the
Yeah.
wrong info.
The
It's
Bow
possible.
Lakes, the Bow Lake field, there is no parking signs because you're not supposed to go out in the hayfield to park. You're supposed to stay in the area that's
Yeah, maybe-
designated
maybe-
for
yeah,
parking.
that's probably
I
what
did
it-
see those signs, but that's to stop people from going way over here into the hayfield.
Okay.
So
So maybe it's just a matter of people don't understand what those signs are
And
for.
I did bring it up a couple of weeks ago about the signs up here, where we put them on the left-hand side of the road going up. The people are parking on the side by the picnic tables now.
Yeah.
So, I don't know what we do to fix that, you know what I mean?
I think the concern
It's still a
was-
problem.
I think the concern was that kids running across the street.
Right.
In fact, I know that's what it was.
But now you got people, where we posted that side of the road, they're parking all the way up the other side of the
the other
road,
side.
so it's still the same problem.
Yeah. You can't win to lose.
And that's what people brought to my attention. Why did you post that side of the road? Because we thought this side would stay open, but it's not working that way.
No.
So maybe we ought to move the signs on the side where the picnic tables are and let them park on the other side. Maybe we gotta use child psychology, I don't know. I've been up there,
Yeah.
and you barely can get up through there with a car when there's a
Ow.
game.
Is it still tight?
Yeah, because they're parking on both sides, because one side is posted. You get some people to park by the picnic tables now, then you get some people to park where it's posted, so it's
Just another quick question too.
it's still a problem, and I don't know how we fix it, but
What's the contingency plan? I noticed that we're still looking for the on-call plow truck driver. What's our contingency plan if we don't get one?
Yep. Well, I had one application. I got an application today as well.
Okay.
I already paid for an ad in the Suncook for tomorrow.
So let's keep that in there and let's try, maybe we'll get a couple more.
Yeah.
I just didn't know if, obviously I didn't know you had it, but I was just wondering what our,
I didn't know it went back out again, but I guess.
no, I never went back. We sent it out a while ago. I just don't think we did. When we did that, when we did the six-wheeler one, we had them do that one too.
No, I thought you were talking about the fire.
No, I'm talking about plow truck,
Love truck, yeah.
plow driver.
Yeah, we're all set on that.
No,
now.
we're missing the on-call plow truck driver.
Oh,
That's the one that I was talking about. And I was worried about a contingency plan if we didn't get one.
Yeah. Charlie can work with what he has if he's down one truck. That it won't be a problem. It's a lot easier, especially if you get a lot of snow, to have that extra guy.
Correct me if I'm wrong, the on-call has to supply their own truck, or do we supply them a
No,
truck?
we
Yep.
supply it
Okay. And that's the 1 ton?
with a wing, yeah.
Okay.
No, there's no wing.
No wing on that truck that guy drives.
And what do we require them to have to drive that? Just a medical card, or just a regular driver's
No,
license?
that's just a regular license. There's nothing special about that one.
That was a GV8.
Now, yeah, and my other question is just so when we do the interviews or whatever, do we require them to have their own insurance, or do we insure the vehicle when they're driving it?
It's our vehicle, it's insured under us.
I'm just concerned that, you get somebody, you hire somebody, you never know what you're getting, who you're hiring, and if they crash the vehicle, then, the town's at a loss for whatever damages we have.
Well, this particular position is a town employee.
Right. So it would be on us.
Is that, speaking on that policy, so if, just for instance, if somebody was to have an accident, are they subject to, like, drug tests and all that good stuff?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep, that's right in the
I was
personnel
just,
policy.
I wasn't sure how that worked. I know that works with some places, I just wanted to make sure we cover our bases. That would be my only concern with the on-call thing. With driving our vehicles, you don't,
I have one other question. I saw some tree work is done. Are these trees out here down?
Sherburne?
No, out here in the parking lot.
No,
I saw there was some taken down at the library.
yeah.
I saw there was some taken down at the beach. And I didn't know if these were done and,
No, those are still up. He said, he should be coming now. He told me 4 weeks out, and it's coming up on that time. I can ping him to see
so
where
what
he's
was
at.
it, 2 different people?
2 different people. Arbor Care gave me a cheaper price for those trees, and then Barry LaValle gave us the cheaper price for these And something else. What else did he give us a price for?
I don't remember.
I forget. But there was these trees and one other tree somewhere, and I don't have the paperwork with me.
How much was these trees out here, do you remember?
I don't have it with me. I can show you. But yeah, I kept all the paperwork.
I think these ones in front of the town hall I'd like to see them gone before winter. Only 'cause they're ready to fall down anyways.
They're dead.
Well, I'm not just, I love the trees. I'm not trying to be.
So
but-
Arbor Care took care of Lucas Pond,
Yep,
took care of the library,
yep,
and Mary Walden Beach. That was the three he did.
yep. And they did some work for cemetery down there too, behind the Edgerly Chapel. They took down 3 trees for the cemetery trustees.
Oh, cemetery trustees paid for that?
Yeah, that comes right out of their kitty.
Will we have anything in non-public?
I do,
You do?
I do, yeah, and it should be pretty quick.
What is it under?
RSA.
Wait, obviously, wait a minute. We don't have any more citizens forum.
No, that's why we skipped it.
Oh. What's it under?
This would actually be under, I have B highlighted, but I think it's under A.
Motion to go into non-public under RSA 91-A:3
I'm sorry, C,
under C.
yes.
Aye.
Aye, we are now in non-public. I'd like to make a motion to come out of non-public.
I'll second that motion. Roll call.
Donald Hush and I.
Rick Wolf, yes.
I'll make a motion to seal the minutes.
I'll second that. Any discussion? Seeing none. All in favor? Aye.
Aye. Okay, I'll make a motion. I'm gonna do these all at once. So that way, this is, what we spoke about in non-public. These will be deed waivers, and I'm gonna just go map 123, lot 48, map 222, lot 33. What's this S? Do I have to say that too?
That's sublot 11.
Sublot 11. Map 207, lot 21. Map 230, lot 82, sublot 5. Well, it only says 5 on mine, it needs to be redone. All right, map 221, lot 56. Map 230, lot 81, sublot 55. You sure this isn't the one that's supposed to be 55?
No, that one's good, this is 53, I just put 5.
These two are the same one.
You should have 230, 82, 55.
There's 3 pieces
Okay,
of
all right,
property.
all right. Now, amendment, map 230, lot 82, sublot 53.
Yep.
Okay, that's why you said 55.
50, yeah, they're close.
We're good.
I'll second that. Any discussion? Seeing none. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes 2-0.
I'd like to entertain a motion to adjourn unless anybody has anything else.
No, sir, I don't
Second.
have anything else today.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
We are now adjourned.